¿Qué onda? Thanks for watching Doing Life with Jenny. If you're new here, I am currently a Spanish teacher in the United States, but I've just turned in my letter of resignation and I'm moving to Mexico at the end of this school year. I'm building a house in the state of Hidalgo. Today we're talking about more weird / quirky or cute things that Mexicans do. If you didn't see part 1, be sure to check that out after this video. Let's start off lightheartedly to not offend anyone, but Mexicans get so excited to see squirrels. I live in the Midwest in the United States, and if I go outside right now, I can see 20 plus squirrels without trying. But squirrels in Mexico are a little more rare, at least in central Mexico. I can't speak for the rest of the country. So if someone sees a squirrel at the park, they get pretty excited, like, look, there's a squirrel. I guess it would be like the equivalent of us in the US saying, hey, look, there's a bald eagle. Like, yes, there are some, but you don't see them every day. The second one has to do with religion. The majority of Mexicans are Catholic, whereas the majority of gringos are Protestant. But if you go to Mexico and you say Protestant, sometimes people don't even know what you're talking about. In Mexico, if they say, I'm Christian, or are you Christian, Cristiano or Cristiana, they mean Protestant. It's not correct because Christian encompasses both Catholicism and Protestantism, but if they say Christian, they mean Protestant. I actually just had this conversation with a New Mexican friend the other day. We got on the topic of religion, and he's a very educated person, and I said I'm Protestant. He's like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'm like, trust me, buddy, you've heard of it, but you guys call it Christian. The next one is about the weather. In central Mexico, in most places, it's going to be pretty chilly in the evening and mornings, but then by the afternoon, it's nice to hot. When this happens in the US, we layer up. We put a jacket on or a cardigan on in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we take it off. Not in Mexico. They will literally sometimes have a winter coat on, which is a little exaggerated anyways because it's not that cold. But I know temperature is relative, it's whatever you're used to. But for me, even a winter coat is too much. But instead of taking the coat off, once the afternoon hits and it's literally 80, 85 degrees, they just leave it on. Come on guys, you can take it off. There's a zipper, there's a button, it comes off just like you put it on, you can take it off. I don't get it. Then on a related note, it's very rare for them to use AC in their cars. In homes, you don't really see AC either because it's not as necessary, because it doesn't get as hot in central Mexico as it does in parts of the US or other parts of Mexico. And then with the cement blocks that they build it with, it just stays a little cooler. But anyways, in the car, I feel that the AC is necessary because the sun just beams into the car and it gets really, really hot. Whatever temperature it is outside, it's even hotter in the car. But they don't turn on the AC, or the AC doesn't work. They might even have their jacket on in the car, and I'm on the verge of melting, and they're do, as if it's a beautiful day. The next thing is just flat out annoying. Even other Mexicans will say it's annoying, but yet everybody does it. And that's in Facebook groups like Facebook Marketplace, or just Facebook groups that go with your city that you're living in. Let's say you're selling something. Instead of putting all of the information on the page, they make you ask the question. So house for sale. And they might give one fact, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, or this is where it's located. But they're not going to give you how to contact them or the price. And it's not just 1 or 2 people that forgot to include this. This is almost every single post, they do not put details. And then when 50 people ask for the price or for more details, instead of just adding that to the posting, they send me a message and I'll give you more information. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't have the time or energy to respond individually when I can just put the information there to begin with. It's they enjoy going in circles with this kind of thing. Or sometimes I think people just might be getting too bored and they respond to the posts that don't apply to them. For example, I made some Facebook posts saying I'm driving down from the US to Mexico. Is there anyone that wants to go with me so I don't have to drive alone? I put all of the details, the dates, that I'm not charging, just to help with gas money, everything, that my dog's coming in case they're not a fan of dogs. Then I start getting private messages. Hey, what's this post about? Obviously that I'm going to Mexico and I'm looking for someone to ride with me. Exactly what I said in the post, dude. Like, can you read? Or you get lots of people messaging you, asking questions that you already answered in the post. Once or twice I get it, like someone just read it quickly and overlooked something, but this is time and time again. And then the final thing for today is language related. Okay, here in the US, let's say I'm talking to my sister. We're talking about our parents. So I say, hey, have you talked to mom or dad lately? Okay, I use mom and dad as if they are people's names. Just like I could have said, hey, have you talked to Steve lately? And Steve, maybe he's somebody from work, maybe he's somebody from church. Have you talked to mom or dad lately? No, not in Mexico. In Mexico, I'm talking to my sister. Hey, have you talked to my mom or my dad lately? As if it's not also my sister's mom or dad. Hey, I went to see my grandma yesterday, even though it's her grandma too. But they always say my for their family members, even if it applies to both people. Whereas in the US, we just say Aunt Kathy instead of my Aunt Kathy, because it's also my sister's Aunt Kathy. I kind of get a kick out of that because if I say my, to me that implies that it's not also her relative when it is. I hope you found these entertaining just like I do. I'm not trying to offend anybody, I'm just saying how it is. And us gringos do plenty of things that the rest of the planet doesn't do. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell because I'm headed to Mexico at the end of May. Adios.